Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is the weekly update for September 23rd. So it's a dead week this week. There's no new units or mementos. The Dark Phantoms event is rerunning, and otherwise there's not a lot going on. Bunch of stuff rerunning, and then an event called the Developers Challenge. Let's start with that. So you can get this unique currency, the Tribulation Spirits, from the Developers Challenge. They just added a new one too that I haven't tried yet. Definitely worth doing, and anybody can do it because it's a forced setup, so you don't need to have anything grinded out. You can use those coins to get some interesting things, including some unique gears. But if you don't care about the gears, you can also just get like mementos. So a lot of good stuff there. Those gears, they're kind of meant to be used together. Like if you equip any two of them, you'll get a certain bonus. It's like raises HP or P attack or crit rate, etc. When appearing on map. So that would stack with other gears, but since they're meant to be used together, it's a little bit odd. I'm not sure. Most characters are going to be really starving for gear slots, so it's hard to imagine who could best utilize that without giving up bonuses from VCRs or other gears. But I'm sure there's probably a few units out there that just have no dedicated gear to them that maybe that could work. But like if it focused more on defensive stats, then maybe you could throw it on support units more and just get the HP out of it. But I don't know. It remains to be seen. There's not even enough coins yet to get the full set. So that remains to be seen. So for the Dark Phantoms event, there is a free unit you can get if you haven't got her yet. And her name is Kasumi, and she is an excellent healer. And then if you are just lacking fully enlightened units in general, it's always good to have more of them. But she does require some unique materials, so you'd need to farm that out while the rerun is still going. And then for the box event itself, the downside here is that all of the gems have been taken out of it, so that matters to a lot of people, including myself, so that is a giant bummer. But on the plus side, the entire box has been reset, so that means if you did need to get shards of units like Dark Otima or Dark Chloe, then you can get a few there. But there's definitely not as much need to farm out this stuff as there would have been had there been gems involved. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the content for the week. It's a pretty slow week, but we do know that Kaya's event is coming next. So this is a pretty good opportunity to do any character building that could be helpful for any of the upcoming Sacred Stones jobs that you either missed out or haven't gotten yet, because they rerun for a short time and they have very, very strict requirements as far as like the units that you have. You pretty much have to have Holy Guard units maxed out to make that work. But that warrants its own video, in my opinion. So I think that's what I'm going to do next, is make a video that's kind of like a new player's guide to how to approach the Holy Guard class change, because it's a kind of a mountain of work if you're just starting it. But enough about that. Let's move on to the banners. Okay, so here we are at the banners, and I'm going to say that for most people this could be a very easy skip week, especially if you're on the more veteran side of things. If you're newer, and depending on what you're missing and what you want, there might be some options. We'll discuss those. The first banner is paid for reliefs. I think it's a skip. I think just most people, paid gems are too scarce to be used in such a way, because you can get enough reliefs for free. Then we've got a reroll for mementos. These are expensive, but definitely a good use of paid gems. Like if you do the monthly packs and you just accumulate them slowly, this is a good way to use them. If you're a big enough spender, very good way to use paid gems. It just depends on what you're missing, because if you're missing a very narrow group of mementos you care about, it's probably better to wait until more of them are released, because that way you're not risking bad outcomes with the rerolls. Then we've got a one for units where it's one of these units plus an accompanying memento. There's some very good combinations in here like Emrys and Lilith, and some less great ones like Kuza, even though I like the character, but just as a unit it's not as impactful. If you're a really big spender and you're missing a bunch of these units, maybe, but I definitely think that there's better options like unit reroll banners. There's also a grand summon for the Dark Phantoms. If you're just really, really into them, then this could be good, especially since there's like a 1 in 4 chance of getting the New Year's Ultima Memento. If you hadn't gotten that, it gives a very, very good VCR. I think most people could safely skip this, though, and be fine. I would skip both of these because while they did make the change of adding the shard selector, there is a better banner for getting Dark Phantom stuff if you are really wanting that, and we'll touch on that when we get to it. There's a kind of interesting banner in that you get to choose your pool of units, and it includes limited, and there's more than 6 limited units on here, so that could be pretty handy. Like, say you don't have Emrys or Lilith, maybe you don't have Orion, which Orion's not too great right now, but he will have a job plus in the future, so look out for that. So I definitely recommend just picking whatever 6 of these 10 limited units on the screen, and you know, if you've got 3 discount tickets, you could guarantee one of them. I don't recommend doing it for full price, but for 1,500 gems, I think that's perfectly good cause for a shot at like Emrys or Lilith. Combine their names. Or even, I like Ewan quite a bit. I use all of these units except for Rochelle and Orion. And next time Orion is in the Louise shop, I'm just going to get him because I have like 148 shards of him. Let's see, there is a 7-step for units that I don't think it's worth it. If you were looking at the coin shop and saw the seal shop for the vouchers and you're like, what's this for? This is how you get those. I just think it's a pay money to save time kind of thing. It's like, do these, get a bunch of rune stuff, and then you could get some 5-star seal sets. I just think there's been better ways to get those, like the special voucher banners, for example, and you know, you can farm them. Some of them like Sweep and Flash are more rare, but at this point there's been enough ways to get them that I don't think you should need to spend a mountain of gems to do it. So this is what I meant when I was talking about the better way to get Dark Phantoms if you are all about that. Just because if you throw discount tickets at this, it's closer to like 20k gems because you only have to do the 9 steps. Whereas if you're starting from, I guess you wouldn't need to do 12. No, I guess it would be 12 steps. Either you'd be spending more gems on the other one because you'd have to do more laps, and then you would get more bonus shards along the way here. So again, I don't think this is applicable to most people because they either like have been through it already, or if they haven't been through it already, they're better off with something else. But for those of you that do really want this, then this is the best option. So this memento banner is the one that's similar to the unit banner where you pick your own pool, and it's only a pool of 3, which could be really nice. The only thing is there's no limited mementos on here. So if there's normal pool ones that you're missing, there's some very good ones like Zahar's 2nd memento, Judith's memento, Najhu, Zen, that kind of thing. Definitely could be worth 3 discount tickets to, you know, and if you get lucky along the way too on steps 1 and 2, then you can swap the rotation out. So that could definitely be worthwhile. And then finally, we got a 7-step memento banner that's very similar in structure to the 7-step for units, where you can get 1 guaranteed limited on step 5. I think that's maybe a little bit better than the unit one in that if you are going to pick 1 limited memento at random, you'd have a better chance of getting something good than 1 limited unit at random. But otherwise, I don't think it's worth what it costs. Unless absolutely nothing on this week interests you and you don't want to save discount tickets for next week, then maybe, I guess. But I don't think that's going to describe most people. But yeah, that is it for the weekly update this week. I'm going to start working on my video for Sacred Stone Memories and how to approach that. And if you do summon this week, I wish you good luck, and I will see you all next time.